Yes, I'm with Gino Risoli. He's quite well known in St Helier as a restaurateur, cafe owner. Some very nice continental cafes he runs, very successfully, I believe.
Yes.
Why on earth do you want to go in the States?
Why do I want to go in the States? It's more than a hobby of mine. I've enjoyed St Helier now for 22 years. It's where I live, it's where I do my business, and I've been interested in politics for very many years. Why people do what they do.
Have you ever been involved in politics? You ever joined a group anywhere else? You've obviously been other places.
No, I haven't actually. I tried a couple of times. I've looked at Time for Change. I've looked at the Jersey Democratic Alliance, but in the end, they didn't chase policies that I was particularly interested in.
There's some fundamental things which you want to change.
Yeah, there is.
What sort of things are those?
Well, fundamentally, I suppose what I'm interested in is people having a choice coming from an evidential perspective. We tend to make our choices in politics, I'm talking here, from information that's supplied to you that's not presented in I think, a particularly fair way. I want to give the electorate the ability, for instance, to check our government spending. In England, from March this year, every local authority is obliged to run databases of the local government spending. So we have an opportunity here in Jersey to put checkbook accountability for the island, where we've got very many people who are accountants and very astute at looking at the figures, and from an evidential basis, because let's face it, the reason why people do what they do quite often is from a financial focus. So it's very important to understand how public money is spent.
You're a businessman, you can read a balance sheet, you understand all that sort of things.
Of course.
Most people don't really have much.
No, and that's obviously true, but remember, a lot of people can. And the fact that information is in the public domain, and those that can decipher it will decipher it, and that will translate down to the ordinary person. So you literally go online and log on to the finances that take your interest. It's as a matter of fact, in America, it's been done for the last 3 years. I don't want to go on. I don't really want to go on about outside of the UK. But even in America, it's not saving millions of pounds, dollars. It's saving billions of dollars. I don't know why it isn't in the public domain when we've got so many financial challenges. But in any event, let's bring it right back to Jersey. If we can save 10% of the budget, and the budget's running this year, I think, nearly $1 billion, well, there's 100 million saving. There would be no need for GST.
Well, of course, the official policy, Joseph and Co. on his policy is to save up to 10%. That's his plan, 68 million. That is the plan, isn't it?
Yes, but the trouble is, when it comes to... The government have a habit of thinking that when the taxpayer hands over his or her money, the money belongs to them. It does not. It belongs to the people of Jersey. And if it belongs to the people of Jersey, the evidential spending of it must today go online. If governments are not driven by accountability, I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of pain in the system, and even to the extent that the people that are currently running Jersey will find the pain as well, because there will be rebellion. Now, we don't want to get to a state of rebellion. We're all in life together. We want an evolution, not a revolution. So it's important that, evidence, if you're going to make judgments, it must come from evidence.
If we're talking in terms of balance sheets, economic balance sheets, financial balance sheets, they tend to be history, things that happened previous years.
Yeah, now...
And predicting what's going to happen in the future is a bit more difficult, isn't it?
Yes, that's true, but having the evidence, allowing the people to have that evidence, and not just a vested interest group, it makes communities safer. Certainly from a perspective of what's happening now, the vested interest is really the financial institution using their muscle with the government, and they're more or less getting what they want. And so the politicians that create policy don't have the interest of the community as being their sponsoring thought.
You've got other things in your manifesto apart from accountability, but it's a very important part of your programme, this accountability idea.
It is, because I can tell you, because I've studied this for many years, people, it used to be, power has always been influence, power and money go together. They are the driving forces, but today is quite a different world. The driving force today is information technology. It's made companies go global, okay? If you don't work with what is true, I'm afraid you're going to be left behind very, very quickly. We have to connect we've got some really clever people in Jersey, but they're not connected with the government because the vested interest. Well, of course, they work from fear. So we really need to, if we want to work together, it must become evidentially based.
Jersey is awash with people who are supposed to be knowledgeable accountants, bankers, lawyers, on all these areas, but still the accountability isn't there, is it?
No, and that's absolutely my agenda. Should I be elected? But let's not. In life, what you concentrate on, you tend to get more of. So it is a fact that that I will drive through legislation which will give us accountability. I know without that factor, it's very difficult to make any change.
Would that extend to the private sector? Because obviously one of the strange things about Jersey is the finance industry, but it does have a great deal of secrecy.
Well, look, I think accountability and transparency will evolve government. There's no revolution there, but it will evolve it. We want everyone to go along together, including the financial institution, but we need I want to bring it back to actually what is it about? It's simply we all want a happy life. That is whenever politicians make policy or devise policy, if their sponsoring thought is the well-being of the community, that is what we will get. Well-being of the community.
You're an Italian of origin. You've been here 20 odd years. The cafes you run have that very attractive continental look about them.
There's no question my cafes operate very well. The staff that work for me have worked me a long time. They take their responsibility. I treat everyone with respect. There are certain disciplines. I only employ people that are interested in what they're doing, and I expect if I'm put into office to do a job, and my job will be I will concentrate on the well-being of the community. As long as I've got that in focus, I can't fail.
The community in Jersey now is very diverse. You're Italian. You're successful. There's a lot of people from all over Europe, all over the world, trying to be successful in Jersey.
Now, let me put, we're very diverse, aren't we? But if they've proved scientifically the human race came out of South Africa, right? We were all black once. So yeah, there's an awful lot of diversity, but what is the common goal? To be happy. Simply to be happy. Keep that as your sponsoring thought in your business life, in your personal life, and that is what you will attract. It's actually quite simple. It's when you get lost in the individual stories that we've forgotten our boundaries. There is a lack of boundaries, not only in our youth, but in ourselves. We have allowed the media to set standards, and there is no standards there. We've let the internet set standards, and of course there's absolutely no standards there. We need to get a grip of our government. We need to come back to the realization that what we do for the benefit of individual happiness.
I want to press you a little bit on because immigration is becoming a bit of a hot potato at the moment. Yeah. People want to impose restrictions. Yeah. Have you ever found problems here? Have you ever been discriminated against as an Italian, as somebody from abroad?
Not really. I haven't. The odd time in my life I have, but I can count that on one hand. But no, I think 99% of people are good-hearted. There is always going to be a small minority that make a noise, and of course noise can be heard by everyone, but it's quite a small minority. There is an issue with population, but I'd like to... it's very easy to get drawn into the negative in politics, and it's hard work not to go there. But I think if we start looking at the positive elements, keep a focus on the positive elements in life, when you're dealing politics, you will attract positive solutions. And that's how it works. Life works.
You're on the edge of what used to be called the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Obviously that's much diminished.
Yeah.
Can it be revived in your view?
Absolutely it can. First of all, we need a tourism minister. It was a huge mistake turning our back on tourism, because it really was the cash flow on the street. It was the easy jobs. It kept people employed. We've got 1,400 employed. If we had a tourism industry, most of them would be employed. Tourism industry looks after people. If you fall on hard times, you get a job in the tourism industry. It keeps the wheels rolling, and it's great. It's a feel-good factor. Everyone enjoys it. Even the people that work in the high-flying job enjoy the aspects of what a tourism industry brings to us, brings to a community. So it was a huge mistake. People thought, governments thought, well, we weren't really particularly making much out of tourism. Let's give it to the developers. Big mistake. It's really cost society in very many ways. Even job losses. We got, like I said, a lot of young people now unemployed, and that is an area that we really must take. We cannot afford for a moment to leave people unemployed, particularly our young people. It's such a serious issue. It's got to be dealt with in months.
I'd like to go on. Unfortunately, we're coming to the end of my time slot here, but I'll end it there. But I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.